Have you ever been stonewalled? Have you ever had affection withheld? Have you ever had somebody use the silent treatment on you? Believe it or not, these are forms of mental abuse, and we don't even realize they're happening in our everyday lives. I'm Chris Kourtakis, and I'm a licensed therapist, and today I'm going to walk through a few of the unspoken abuses that both men and women go through on a regular basis, and we don't even realize it. I sit down with my male clients all the time, and they tell me how their wife will go days without talking to them or go hours without talking to them after an argument. When we start talking about this as a form of control, they realize that they're being abused. And I'm not saying it's just women that do this. If you really look at it, 50% of women in abusive relationships reported that they were gaslit at one point in time. And that statistic can raise up to 70% depending on the situation. As a whole, 67% of people that were surveyed have reported that they were gaslit. Now, even crazier, 50% of people report that they've been gaslit at work. At work. I mean, like, you're crazy. You're thinking the wrong thing. I mean, come on. I mean, it's a form of abuse in the workplace, and that potentially overspills into the house, and we don't even realize it. The silent treatment. How many times do we sit there and we just want somebody to just talk to? And what ends up happening in this situation is the silent treatment is to have someone beg for your forgiveness, or for them to come and get on their hands and knees and say how sorry they are for a situation that may or may not have been caused. Why is it form of abuse? Because what happens? It creates anxiety. It creates depression. It creates nervousness. When all these things happen and they build up, all of a sudden we explode. Anger happens, and we don't even know why. Why is our mind racing? Why are we out of control? And it comes down to the simple things like being gaslit, by being withheld information on the silent treatment. And it's crazy. We just don't even realize it, that it is happening. And we'll take that a little bit further. When you're stonewalled and you can't even have the conversation, you're more than likely being withheld affection. Deliberately removing praise, physical touch, emotional support, kissing, hugging, loving, cuddling from an environment, from a person. That one of the biggest pet peeves I have with couples is, I'm not going to have sex with my husband, or I'm not going to have sex with my wife unless A, B, C, and D are met. Come on, guys, that's bullshit. Sex is not a weapon. It should never be weaponized. It should never be used, but anything else but building a connection and an emotional connection and getting closer with your partner. So you know what? Fuck you if you're using it for a tool to get back at your partner. That's not cool. That's not right. And that's just downright abuse. When we start talking about the silent treatment and gaslighting, we get aggressive body languages from those partners. They're slamming doors. They're sighing really loud. Oh my God. They're handling objects roughly. They're emptying the dishwasher and they're slamming things. And they don't want to even explain it, but that's what's happening. So with top of that, the body language and the noises on top of the silent treatment, it's not fair to the person that's getting the abuse. It's not fair mentally for that person to go through those type of things over and over and over again. It wears you down. It beats you down. It makes you think twice. Now what happens, the depression sits in and you think, I'm worthless. I'm not worth this argument. I'm not worth anything. This relationship. And it starts affecting you mentally, physically. You don't want to get out of bed, and so on and so forth. And it's just, we don't even realize it. Why are we so tired all the time? Well, because we're depressed. Why are we tired? Because our partner won't talk to us. And we're creating these scenarios that we don't even realize that are happening. And when I talk to so many men, they're like, yeah, my wife went to bed and didn't even talk to me that night. She didn't say she loved me. She didn't do anything. And it just frustrated the hell out of me. Or I talk to women and they go on dates with these guys that clearly say they're wrong and this is the situation, the way it happened, or so on and so forth. Or they've been in a marriage and nope, you're wrong. Nope, that's not how it happened. And you just try to explain to yourself, nope, you're wrong. It's not how it happened. And right there, that's abuse. That's not allowing somebody to speak their true, authentic feelings. It's not allowing somebody to be able to express what they think. Because at the end of the day, guys, there's 3 points of view. There's your point of view, there's their point of view, and there's the truth. So when you start looking at it, gaslighting is not even giving them an opportunity to express their side. Gaslighting is saying, nope, you're wrong. It didn't happen that way. We're not going to talk about it. And the next thing you know, you're starting to think to yourself, well, did it happen that way? Did it not happen that way? Maybe I am wrong. And I call bullshit, because if you really think it happened that way, then we need to really look at the facts and think that it did happen that way. But we need to be cognizant of the abuse that is happening so we can put a stop to it. How do we put a stop to it? It's simple. We don't beg. We don't allow this year-old temper tantrum to happen. We either move on and do whatever we're going to do that we were supposed to do. Maybe we want to get in the car, drive up and get ice cream, or we're going to go for a walk. We're going to take the dogs to the park. We're going to do those type of things. You continue to go on and leave that person that wants to do those type of things. If you get a gaslight person or somebody who wants to gaslight you, start looking at the facts, start looking at how they're looking at things, and gain your authentic truth back, and they won't like it. And I'll guarantee they're either going to change their behavior, or you're finally going to get the balls to stand up and tell them to fuck you. Again, these type of things are so silent, but they are so deadly that they are going to erode and erase and just knock you down time after time after time. And we really need to get after them. We really need to understand what's happening so that we can correct the behavior, not only for the relationship, but just for ourselves. If we can correct this behavior, and when I say correct, I'm not saying change the other person. I'm saying change our mindset, how we're thinking about it. Because if we can correct how we're thinking about it, I can guarantee we can make the change. We can stand up for ourselves, and we can say, I'm not going to tolerate the gaslighting. I'm not going to tolerate the silent treatment. I'm not going to tolerate you withholding sex, because if that's how you want to act and that's how you operate, I'm out. I'm not going to tolerate it. I'm not going to deal with it. We're going to stand up for ourselves for the first time in a very, very long time. And I'm going to tell you what, when you do it, it is worth it. Again, I'm Chris Kourtakis. I am a licensed counselor. I hope you found this information valuable. If you did, please hit the like button. Please leave a comment if there's something that I missed or that I should expand on for maybe in another video. I would love to hear that from you. If you think that somebody else needs to hear this video, please share it with them. I want to get as much information out there about mental health and mental wellness as I can, especially in the men's community, but also it affects women just as much as it does men. But men need to know that it's okay. We can ask for help, and we're not any less masculine than we were yesterday. So again, if you like this information, make sure you subscribe so you can get more of it. If somebody else needs to hear it, and hit that little arrow and send it to them. But at the end of the day, guys, we need to identify what the emotional abuse is. If it's happening, we need to put steps in to correct it by standing up for ourselves. Identifying it is the number one step. Talking about it is the number two step. Number three step is, standing up for ourselves. Number four is making that decision of whether we're going to tolerate it or if we're going to go. So I appreciate it, guys. And do you think back to the last time that you were involved in gaslighting or the silent treatment or somebody withholding sex? How did it make you feel?